What's going on, you guys? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 build video. Now this Division 2 build video took a second to do, but as all you guys know, it's going to be another vector build. I am working on other builds to show you guys, but with all the content that just dropped, there's a lot of videos coming your way, and one of the builds I really wanted to show you guys is how I changed my vector build. Now I did release a vector cheese build probably 2 or 3 days ago, and a lot of you watched it, and a lot of you guys liked it, but there's a majority of you that couldn't think it could be done after Title Update 3. And in fact, a lot of you guys said it'd be completely ruined for Title Update 3. Well, here we are at Title Update 3, and in fact, my vector build got a lot better. If you guys do enjoy this content, mash that like. Of course, if you're new, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep this content coming your way. And without further ado, let's get into it. This is a gear score 500 build, so it is completely maxed out here in Title Update 3. I will go over the weapon combination, followed by the gear set and brand set bonuses, and then I'll explain the actual gear and attributes. We'll finish up with the stats list, and then we'll move on to the next video, because the raid build that I'm using, my AR build, is so good, you guys. I teased it on the community tab a few days ago, but those numbers have gone away and some higher numbers came in, and it's glorious. So right away, you guys, you can see in Title Update 3 it is basically the tank meta. So I kind of used that and adapted that to my vector cheese build that I released the other day. I am using the vector still, but I'm using strained instead of close and personal. I still have the chatterbox as my secondary. Nothing's changed there. Rate of fire. Oh, and the chatterbox got buffed, which is sweet. And like always, my sawed-off double barrel. That'll pop your face in. So looking at my primary, this is my tactical vector, SBR 9mm. It is a 500 gear score, coming in at a whopping 14.4 damage. I think that's like 0.1 away from what I had in the previous build video. But you'll see so many other changes to this. And this build is so much better than what it was before. You have strained on here instead of close and personal. So it works perfectly with Berserk now, being that in Title Update 3 there are 0 requirements for strained, which is like, why would you guys do this? I made a video explaining how to get away from strained, and then you took the requirements away and basically fed it to me. So of course I put strained on. Now with the new update, this is your new strained. You get 5% crit hit damage for every 10% armor that is depleted. So by the time you have 0 armor, you will have 50% more crit hit damage, which on a build like this with maxed crit chance coming in at 60%, the crit hit damage you're getting off of this with the weapon damage you're getting off of Berserk is just out of this world. Now off of that we have Allegro, obviously, for the rate of fire, and then the holstered talent is a POS. I wish I had stop, drop, and roll. Now going into the mods here, all crit related for the most part. Starting with the optics, we have the reflex sight giving 20% critical range. Next up we have the laser pointer. I am using the demolition specialization for the SMG damage because duh. And because of that you get this small laser pointer. This comes with 7% crit hit chance. And then for the suppressor, use the Osprey 9, gives you another 5% crit hit chance. And finishing out with the extended 9mm mag, that'll give you 20% more rounds. Now looking at the chatterbox, like I said, it did get a buff. So I believe in my last video it was only hitting for like maybe 15 to 16k, and that is now at 20k. So for the most part, I'd probably pick using the chatterbox over the Vector. You get a little bit more range, and it hits a hell of a lot harder. However, when you do that, you might as well use, another SMG. So it's neither here nor there. Just use the Vector, have the chatterbox for the rate of fire, and mow everything down. Finishing off with the sidearm, my double barrel sawed-off is hitting for a whopping 187k. And remember, I don't have any shotgun damage bonus of any sort on this build. Now let's talk about the gear the gear bonuses. So right here I'm using TU3 Patriot. That is one of the first gear sets that were introduced into this game. And with it, I am unlocking the 2 out of 6 gear set bonus, giving you the 10% damage to armor. So you can calculate this into your damage, or you can just see the numbers for yourself. But shooting an enemy, this will do 10% more damage that you're doing to their armor. And I don't know if you guys understand this, but the faster their armor's gone, usually the faster they die. Now, with the time to kill that has changed in this, you do need to be careful. Now, LMGs are getting really hot right now, so hopefully people will shy away from this and go more towards an AR, but I understand SMGs are still a lot of fun. Now, that is damage to armor, so it will help melt them faster. Going down to the chest piece, Sokolov Concern. That brand set, I'm using that for the 10% SMG damage. The gloves are Murakami Industries. I'm using those for the 8% health. Knee pads are Gilligard. I'm using that for the 5% total armor. And finally, I'm using a Wyvernware holster, and that is for the crit hit damage. Now let's actually go into the pieces themselves. Now with the new recalibration, you can roll things a lot higher. So if these numbers are higher than you're used to, it's because you can re-roll them that way now. So be mindful with that. Now, before I get into the gear, I just want to go ahead and show you the numbers next to the gear, because that's all it's about. It's not really about the weapons, it's about the gear. So I have 5 spec'd into the reds, which are, your power, your firearms. I have 9 spec'd into the shield, blue, which is your defense, or, armor based. And then I have 1 spec'd into the yellow, which is your electronics. So it's a pretty balanced for tanky and DPS wise. And with that, I have over 214k armor and over 104k health, and I still have a little bit of skill power. So with that kind of armor and that kind of health, you can run healing type skills and get away with it. Now, starting off with the mask, it is a true Patriot mask. It is only a gear score 498. The armor roll on it is 21.5k. Remember, I'm using it for the damage to armor. Now the attributes I have on this: crit hit chance at 7% and health at 11,870. Going to the backpack, the other true Patriot, it is sitting at 499 gear score. Armor 39.9k, and the attributes on this backpack: weapon damage at 8%, which is pretty high, 17,000 on health, and 3% crit hit damage. Now it does have one mod slot, being a defensive systems mod slot. For that, I went ahead and put a defensive system mod on it with armor and poison resistance. Main reason was for the 6,610 armor. Going to the gloves, Murakami Industries, $4.99 on the gear score, $22K on the armor. Again, I am using this for the health brand set bonus. And the attributes I have on here, health right under 73K, 7,300, and SMG damage at 10%. Now this does come with a talent, and I chose Devastating, giving another 5% weapon damage. Going to the chest piece, Sokolov Concern coming in at 500 gear score. Remember, Sokolov Concern, I'm using this for the SMG damage. The attributes are weapon damage at 6%, crit hit chance at 13%, health just above 8,600, and skill power at 368. Now the talent I have on this vest is Berserk. Now this is the reworked Berserk, so let's talk about it. Berserk gives you 10% weapon damage for every 20% of your max armor depleted. So this will give you 50% weapon damage when all of your armor is depleted. So match that with your strained, you are now getting 50% weapon damage and 50% crit hit damage when you have 0 armor. Now also another thing to remember is that the Berserk starts active after you lose 20%. Strain starts to be active when you lose 10%. So you will have one proc before the other. Now it has one mod slot, and I chose a generic systems mod, this giving me 3% total armor and 2.76% crit hit chance resistance. Yeah, that is the chest piece. Going down to the holster, Wyvern Wear, 500 gear score, 29.1K on that armor. Attribute, crit hit chance at 13.5. And remember, the brand set gives me another 7% crit hit damage. And I rolled the talent Devastating on this holster, which gives me another 5% weapon damage. This also has a mod slot, offensive protocol mod slot, and for that I chose a 2.5% weapon damage and 2% optimum range mod. Finishing the gear items out with the knee pads. These are Gilligar knee pads at 500 gear score. They only have 27K armor, pretty low. I am using Gilligard for the 5% total armor bonus, and for the attribute I chose 18,000 health. It does come with self-adjusting, which gives me 20% armor regeneration. It has 2 mod slots, one being a defensive protocol mod slot and the other one being a defensive systems mod slot. Now for the first one I chose a health mod, giving me over 6,800 additional health. And for the generic system mod, I chose the Firefly total armor, just for the total armor at 4%. Now doing all these mods and putting it together, that's how you get over that 210, 215 armor, and you also have over 100,000 health. Now the skills are up to you. You can use whatever skills you want. Going to my stat sheet to actually talk about the build. We will start down at the weapon. This is my Vector. So my Vector is sitting at 14,417 damage. It is at 60% crit hit chance, which is max, and the crit damage is only at 35%. But remember, when my strain procs in, that's another 50, so that'll add it up to 85%. and it has 50% headshot damage. Going to the offensive tab, I have 26.5 weapon damage bonus and 35 SMG damage bonus. These are the only two you should really be worried about. So that is what? 71.5% damage bonus. Now, I do have armor damage at the bottom there at 10% from the True Patriot, and that really does make a difference. Finishing this off with the defensive tab, just to show you guys, I have 214.5 armor, 104, right under 105,000 health. My health regen is at 52,000, and yeah, I mean, skills are at a bare minimum. That's about it, you guys. So this is my updated SMG build, or my updated vector build. Hope you guys enjoy it. This is going to be my last SMG build I do for a while. I'm going to now jump to my ARs, my LMGs, and I actually really want to put together a nice rifle build, because I like the rifles, and that might be my next go-to. Actually, after ARs is my rifle build. But yeah, that's about it, you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Kamikazevondoom. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.